The hidden ledger in Principal Harmon's desk revealed millions in stolen school funds. Jack Miller, a con artist who'd taken the substitute teaching job as cover for one last score, stared at the damning evidence, his hands trembling. Rain leaked through the ceiling, forming puddles on the cracked linoleum floor as students shuffled past with worn textbooks and defeated expressions. What Jack discovered that night would change everything years of money meant for these struggling kids, siphoned away by the very man trusted to educate them. As the numbers blurred before his eyes, Jack felt something he hadn't experienced in years, the burning desire to make things right, no matter the cost to himself. His burner phone vibrated, a text from Mitch. "Find anything worth taking yet?" Jack closed the ledger, made a quick decision, and typed back, "I found something bigger. Much bigger." 2 weeks earlier, Jack had been enjoying his coffee in a quiet diner when Mitch slid into the booth across from him. "I found us a perfect mark," Mitch whispered. "Westridge High School." Jack frowned. "I'm done with that life, you know that. Hear me out. The place is falling apart, but they still have valuable equipment. Computers, AV gear, science lab, stuff easy to move. Good resale. Schools? We're hitting schools now." Jack's stomach turned. "This school's already being robbed blind. We'd just be ... redistributing." Mitch slid a folder across the table. "They need a substitute teacher. 2 weeks tops." Jack thought about the promise he'd made to his sister after his last stint in county jail. 3 years clean. No more cons. No more schemes. No more looking over his shoulder. "I can't." "Your sister's medical bills paid off yet?" Mitch asked casually. Jack's jaw tightened. Kelly's treatments weren't covered by insurance, and his legitimate handyman job's barely covered. "Rent. 2 weeks," Mitch pressed. "In and out. No one gets hurt." That night, Jack stared at his sister's photo. She'd believed in him when no one else would. She'd visited every month during his 18-month sentence, and when the cancer came back, she'd made him promise to stay straight for himself, not for her. "Just one last job," he whispered to the empty room. "Then I'm done for good." The next morning, Jack sat across from the assistant principal, Dr. Reynolds, a harried woman with kind eyes and an overflowing desk. "Your references check out, Mr. Miller," she said, barely glancing at the forged documents. "We're desperate for substitutes. Can you start Monday?" Jack nodded, guilt already gnawing at him. The school's desperation made this too easy. "The kids are good," she continued, "but resources are tight. Principal Harmon runs a fiscally conservative ship." On his way out, Jack passed a bulletin board with faded notices and a sign that read "College Dreams" above outdated scholarship information. A dark-haired girl was studying it intently, making notes in a worn notebook. "You planning for college?" Jack asked. The girl looked up, her eyes sharp and assessing. "Someone has to get out of this neighborhood." As she walked away, Jack noticed the holes in her shoes and the careful way she protected her notebook. For a brief moment, he saw himself at that age hungry for escape, willing to do whatever it took. The memory of his first con flashed through his mind, the rush of success, followed by the crushing realization that the rich Mark had been a struggling single father trying to pay his son's medical bills. "No one gets hurt," Jack muttered to himself as he exited the building. But even as he said it, he knew it was another broken promise. Jack's first day teaching was chaos. His assigned classroom had 27 desks for 34 students. The textbooks, those that existed, were falling apart, held together with tape and hope. "Share with your neighbor," Jack instructed, distributing the books. A boy in the back snorted. "What's the point? We never learn anything anyway." Jack recognized the defense mechanism he'd perfected it himself by 9th grade. "Well, today might surprise you." Though Jack had planned to use his teaching position solely as cover, something about these kids got under his skin. They were sharp, funny, and transparently skeptical of yet another adult making empty promises. During his lunch break, Jack explored the building. What he found disturbed him. A library with empty shelves, a computer lab with machines from the early 2000s, a gymnasium with a dangerous floor. Meanwhile, the administrative wing gleamed with new paint and furniture. In the teacher's lounge, a middle-aged woman with paint-stained fingers introduced herself. "Lin Chen, art teacher." "What's left of the art department anyway?" "Jack Miller, just substituting." "Smart man. Most people don't stay long." She lowered her voice. "The ones who ask questions definitely don't." Jack was preparing to leave when the dark-haired girl from the bulletin board appeared at his classroom door. "Mr. Miller, I'm Maya Patel. I missed the homework assignment." "There wasn't one," Jack said. "I'm not big on homework. Could you assign some?" Maya asked, her voice quiet but insistent. "I need the extra credit for my GPA." Jack studied her. "Shooting for valedictorian. Full scholarship. It's my only shot at college." On impulse, Jack asked, "Why is everything falling apart around here? The school doesn't look poor on paper." Maya's expression darkened. "Principal Harmon says there's no money, but he just got another new car." That evening, after the building emptied, Jack picked the lock to the records room. His plan was to locate valuable equipment, but instead, he found himself pulling budget files. The numbers didn't add up. Westridge received substantial funding, state allocations, federal grants, even private donations. yet the expenditure reports showed minimal spending on students. Jack photographed documents until his phone storage filled up. He was about to leave when he noticed a folder labeled Special Projects tucked behind the filing cabinet. Inside was a list of dummy companies with payments in the hundreds of thousands. Jack had run enough fake invoice scams to recognize one instantly. Someone was siphoning funds on a massive scale. As Jack slipped out of the building, he spotted Maya through a classroom window, tutoring younger students by the light of a desk lamp. The contrast was stark, a student giving everything while the system robbed her of opportunity. Jack leaned against his car, phone heavy in his pocket. He'd come for an easy score, but stumbled onto something far more lucrative and far more destructive. The conman in him saw leverage, but something else, something he thought he'd buried long ago, saw in Justice Principal Edward Harmon. Arrived each morning in a different luxury car. Today, it was a gleaming black Mercedes. Jack watched from his beat-up Honda as Harmon strode into the building, not bothering to acknowledge the students who stepped aside for him. During his free period, Jack searched public records online. Harmon's salary was $112,000, but nowhere near enough to explain the man's 3 properties, boat, and car collection. Admiring our fearless leader, Ms. Chen appeared beside Jack's desk, just curious about his success. Ms. Chen's smile was bitter. He calls it private consulting. Been at it for 8 years now. 8 years, the exact time frame of West's decline, according to the maintenance records Jack had found. Later, in the front office, Jack charmed the secretary, Doris, a grandmotherly woman with photos of students covering her desk. "You've been here forever, right?" Jack asked. "You must have seen a lot of changes." Doris sighed. "This used to be a good school. We sent kids to top universities. Had winning teams, arts programs." She lowered her voice. Then Dr. Harmon arrived, with his fiscal responsibility agenda. Must be hard to watch. "I stay for the kids." She glanced at the principal's closed door. "Someone has to care." Jack pointed to a student's drawing on her desk. "Budding artist. Maya Patel. That girl works harder than anyone I've ever known. 3 jobs, straight A's, helps raise her siblings." Doris's eyes watered. "Last year, I helped her apply for the Matthews Scholarship. Her application mysteriously disappeared, twice." That evening, Jack followed Harmon to an upscale restaurant, where he met with a well-dressed man. Jack snapped photos from his car, then ran the man's license plate. Robert Calloway, owner of Educational Consulting Solutions, one of the dummy companies from the Special Projects folder. Back at his apartment, Jack created a wall of evidence, photos, documents, connections, a classic con artist's web, except this time he was tracking the criminal instead of planning the crime. The next day, Jack noticed a manila envelope on Harmon's secretary's desk labeled, "Capital Improvement Grant $1.5 million. Big money coming in?" he asked casually. "Oh yes," Doris beamed. "Dr. Harmon wrote the proposal himself. It's going to fix the roof and update the science labs." Jack had seen enough grant scams to know this money would never reach the students, not without intervention. During lunch, he approached Maya in the library. "How are those college applications coming?" She looked up from her calculus homework. "I'm applying to 17 schools, hoping one offers enough financial aid." "The Matthews Scholarship you applied last year." Maya's face fell. "Waste of time. They said they never received it. Same with my summer program applications." "What if someone was making sure you didn't get out?" Her eyes flashed. "Why would anyone do that?" "Because people who escape might come back asking questions." Maya studied him. "You're not really a teacher, are you?" Jack hesitated, then offered the first honest answer he'd given in days. "No, but I might be the only adult in this building who can actually help you." Jack found Ms. Chen in the art room after school, surrounded by students creating vibrant paintings despite their limited supplies. "How do you manage this?" Jack gestured. "At the makeshift studio, I bring materials from home," Ms. Chen said once the students had gone. "The official budget is $20 per semester." Jack whistled. "That wouldn't buy the paintbrushes." "Principal Harmon doesn't consider art essential." She unlocked a cabinet and pulled out a worn sketchbook. "But I consider documentation essential." Inside were detailed sketches of Westridge through the years. Crowded classrooms, leaking ceilings, empty bookshelves. Alongside them were newspaper clippings about school funding and grant awards. "You've been tracking the decline. And the money that never reaches us." She turned to a drawing of Harmon, standing beside a man Jack recognized from his restaurant. "Surveillance, Robert Calloway. His company gets hundreds of thousands for consulting but never sets foot in a classroom." Jack's con artist instincts tingled. "Why show me this?" "Because you're looking where others don't." Ms. Chen closed the sketchbook. 3 teachers have filed complaints about mismanagement. All 3 were gone within months. Harassment, denied tenure, or just plain fired. So why risk it? Ms. Chen pointed to a student's painting drawing on the rack, a vibrant cityscape with the words "somewhere better" scrawled across the sky. These kids deserve somewhere better, or at least the truth about why they can't have it. Later that day, Jack noticed Maya struggling with a heavy backpack. "Let me help," he offered, taking the bag. "I'm fine," she insisted, but relinquished it with obvious relief. 3 textbooks, plus your work uniform, Jack observed. Long night ahead. Shift at the diner until midnight. Then homework. What about sleep? Maya's laugh was hollow. Optional luxury. On impulse, Jack asked, what would you do with a real chance? If the playing field wasn't rigged? Study astrophysics. She answered without hesitation. NASA has a program for first-generation college students, but they only take the best. Jack thought about his own squandered potential, the math skills he'd used for fraud instead of creation, the charisma he'd wielded to manipulate rather than inspire. Sometimes the best just need a fair shot, he said. That night, Jack called his old partner Vince, now working legitimately in a... Need a favor? No questions asked? You promised your sister, it's not what you think. I need help exposing someone else's con. After explaining, Jack asked, can you get into their financial system? Probably. But Jack, man, what's your angle? There's no payday in playing hero. Jack stared at his evidence wall, at the faces of Maya and the other students. Maybe the angle is that I'm tired of being the bad guy. Jack followed Maya home one evening, keeping a discreet distance. She walked 6 blocks past the school to a small apartment complex, disappearing inside. The next morning, he spotted her helping a younger boy and girl with backpacks at the school entrance. My siblings, Maya explained when she caught Jack watching. Raj is 10, Leela's 8. You take care of them. Mom works double shifts at the hospital. She's a cleaner. Maya's pride was evident despite her exhaustion. She has her citizenship test next month. After school, Jack drove to Maya's neighborhood and found her at the local diner, taking orders in a worn uniform. Research, Jack explained when she noticed him. On my best student? You should leave a good tip then, she replied with unexpected humor. Jack ordered coffee and discreetly observed. Maya was efficient, polite, and utterly exhausted. When her shift ended, he offered her a ride. I don't get in cars with strange men, she said firmly. Smart policy. I'll walk with you instead. During their walk, Maya gradually opened up. Her father had died 3 years ago, heart attack at 42. No life insurance. Their mother worked constantly, but barely covered rent. Maya's jobs paid for groceries and her siblings' needs. My father believed education was everything, she said, voice catching. In India, he never had the chance. He made me promise to graduate college no matter what. That's why you keep applying for scholarships. Every single one I can find. Bitterness crept into her voice. But something always goes wrong. Applications get lost, or I'm mysteriously disqualified. They reached her apartment building. Through a ground-floor window, Jack glimpsed the small, immaculate living room, where 2 children did homework at a folding table. I checked your academic record, Jack said. You should have universities fighting over you. Maya's laugh was hollow. Principal Harmon told me to be realistic about community college. What if I told you someone's been deliberately sabotaging your applications? Maya stared at him, comprehension dawning. Why would his success stories ask questions? Like, why their brilliant classmates didn't get the same opportunities? Jack made a decision. I have a friend at the Matthews Foundation. I'm going to call in a favor. Why would you help me? Jack thought about his sister, who'd believed in him despite everything. About second chances. Because sometimes people surprise themselves. The next day, Jack contacted an old Marcus Scholarship administrator he'd once befriended for a scam he'd ultimately abandoned. Jennifer, it's Jack Miller. I need a legitimate favor. That evening, he knocked on Maya's door with a folder of direct scholarship contact information and application advice. Apply directly to the foundations, he instructed. Use my address, not the school's. And this prepaid phone is just for scholarship communications. I can't accept it's a burner phone and some papers. Not exactly winning the lottery. Maya's mother appeared behind her. Despite obvious exhaustion, she carried herself with dignity. You are the teacher, she asked. Just helping with some college applications, Jack said, suddenly uncomfortable under her grateful gaze. Thank you, she said simply. Inside their spotless but cramped apartment, Jack saw what real struggle and real dignity looked like. No con, no angle, just a family working desperately to build a future. As he left, Maya whispered, Why are you really at Westridge? Jack couldn't meet her eyes. I'm not the person you think I am. Maybe you're not the person you think you are, either. Jack sat in the back row of the school board meeting, baseball cap pulled low. His jeans and work jacket helped him blend with the handful of parents who'd bothered to attend. Principal Harmon commanded the room in a tailored suit, his presentation polished and confident. Despite budget constraints, Westridge continues to provide quality education, he announced, clicking through slides of smiling students and pristine facilities Jack had never seen. Our graduation rate has improved by 2% this year. A board member, Pearson, according to his nameplate, nodded approvingly. Excellent fiscal management as always. Edward, Jack bit back a laugh. 2% improvement meant 39% of students still didn't graduate, and the photos were clearly staged or from years past. Questions? The board chairman asked perfunctorily. A woman in a severe black blazer raised her hand. Dr. Livingston, District Finance Committee. These capital improvement funds when will renovations begin? Harmon's smile never wavered. Contractors are being evaluated as we speak. We expect work to begin next quarter. Jack scribbled notes. The woman Livingston skeptical, studying the budget handout with narrowed eyes. After the meeting, Jack lingered, watching Harmon schmooze with board members. When Livingston headed for the exit alone, he followed. "Excuse me, Dr. Livingston." She turned, assessing him coolly. "Yes. Have you visited Westridge recently? Seen the actual conditions?" "Who's asking? Someone concerned about where the money's really going?" Her professional mask slipped momentarily. "Do you have evidence of financial impropriety, Mr. Miller?" "And I'm working on it." "Working on it isn't enough. The board trusts Harmon completely. Why don't you?" Livingston studied him, then handed him her card. "I ask questions. That makes me unpopular." As Jack pocketed the card, a hand clamped his shoulder. "Don't believe we've met." Principal Harmon's grip was surprisingly strong. "Edward Harmon." "John Miller?" Jack lied smoothly. "My nephew attends Westridge. Really? Which grade?" "10th. Math whiz." Jack grinned disarmingly. "Just curious about school funding, taxes, and all that." Harmon's eyes narrowed. "You look familiar." "I've got that kind of face." Jack shrugged, maintaining eye contact despite his racing pulse. "Well, Mr. Miller, we appreciate parent involvement, but these meetings are primarily for official business." Harmon's smile didn't reach his eyes. "If you have concerns about your nephew's education, my door is always open. I'll remember that." Walking to his car, Jack felt Harmon's stare burning into his back. The principal might not have placed him yet, but something had triggered his suspicion. His phone buzzed with a text from Mitch. 2 weeks almost up. What's the score?" Jack typed back. "Working on something big. Need more time." The reply was, "Immediate. Clock's ticking. Partner wants results." Jack frowned. He'd told Mitch he was working alone. "What partner?" The response chilled him. "Someone who knows you. Says if you're holding out, there'll be consequences." Jack slammed his car door. Mind racing. Someone from his past was involved. Someone who could expose him if they thought he was running a side game. The stakes had just gotten much higher. He had days, not weeks, to take down Harmon, and now his own past was closing in, too. The next morning, Jack arrived to find Troy Maddox, Harmon's head of security, rifling through his desk. "Lose something?" Jack asked casually. Maddox straightened, unapologetic. "Routine security check in a substitute teacher's desk. New policy." Maddox's eyes were cold. "Harmon wants all staff vetted." Jack maintained a relaxed posture while his mind raced. Had Harmon recognized him? His last con had made regional news, but he'd avoided cameras and used a different name. "Vet away," Jack said with a shrug. "Not much to find." Maddox lingered. "Where'd you teach before Westridge?" "Upstate small district." Jack shuffled papers, projecting boredom. "Look, I've got a class in 10 minutes. After Maddox left, Jack quickly checked his desk. Nothing seemed disturbed, but the message was clear. He was being watched. During lunch, Miss Chen slipped into his classroom. "Harmon's asking questions about you," she whispered. "Be careful." "Any idea why?" "Board meeting," Dr. Livingston called him this morning, asking about the capital improvement timeline. "He thinks someone's been talking." Jack nodded, thinking quickly. "I need to accelerate things. Whatever you're planning, I want in." "It's safer if you." "I've been documenting his corruption for 3 years," Ms. Chen interrupted fiercely. "I've earned my place in this fight." That afternoon, Jack noticed Maddox following him between classes. When the final bell rang, he approached Maya. "Change of plans. I need to get those scholarship applications out today." Understanding flashed in her eyes. "Security's watching you. Smart kid, meet me at the public library in an hour." Jack left. Through the gym, deliberately visible, then doubled back through a service door. From a janitor's closet, he watched Maddox search the parking lot for his car. At the library, he helped Maya complete applications to 5 top universities, using Dr. Livingston's address for correspondence. "If anything happens to me," Jack said quietly, "contact her. Tell her everything." Maya's expression was grave. "Are you in trouble?" "Let's just say Harmon and I are playing chess, and he just moved his knight." That evening, Jack's phone rang in known number. "Hello, Miller." The voice was instantly recognizable. Vincent Reyes, a fellow con man he'd worked with years ago, or whatever you're calling yourself these days. Jack's blood ran cold. "Vince, you're Mitch's partner. Surprise. Heard you found something juicy at that school. Nothing solid yet." "Bullshit. Mitch says you've been taking pictures, asking questions. What's the angle?" "The principal's embezzling millions." Vincent whistled. "Blackmail, something like that." Jack lied. "Good, because we've got bills to pay, and your sister's medical information would be worth a lot to certain collections agencies." Jack gripped the phone tightly. "Leave Kelly out of this." Then stop stalling. 3 days. Jack, get the goods, or get out of the way. After hanging up, Jack paced his apartment. The evidence against Harmon wasn't enough yet. He needed the digital trail bank records, transfers, the complete money flow. His laptop pinged with an email from his IT contact. Access to the school's financial system would take at least another week. Jack didn't have a week. He needed leverage immediately. He pulled out Dr. Livingston's card, then hesitated. Going to her meant becoming a whistleblower, not a blackmailer. It meant choosing a side. His phone buzzed with a text from Maya. Mr. Maddox was asking about you today. Be careful. Jack made his decision. He'd spent his life taking the easy, crooked path. Maybe it was time to try the hard, straight one. Jack stood before his increasingly engaged class. Despite the crumbling infrastructure, he'd managed to create something remarkable, genuine learning. Education isn't just about grades, he told them. It's about understanding your worth. In the back row, Maya watched with quiet intensity. Since their library meeting, she'd recruited 5 other honor students to help document Westridge's conditions. After class, she approached his desk with her team. We've been thinking, she said. What if we showed everyone what's really happening? Here I'm listening a student newspaper. Digital, so Harmon can't confiscate it. The idea was brilliant and dangerous. He'll know who's behind it. Not if we're careful. Maya's expression was determined. We're already labeled troublemakers for asking questions. Might as well earn the title. That afternoon, Jack found Ms. Chen in the art room, supervising an unofficial after-school program. Despite having no budget, she'd created a haven where students expressed themselves through salvaged materials. Maya's planning a digital newspaper, Jack told her. They need a faculty sponsor and a place to work. Ms. Chen gestured around the art room. This could be their headquarters. By week's end, a dozen students were involved. They called themselves the Truth Brigade and worked with remarkable stealth. Some photographed conditions, others researched public records. While Maya's writing team crafted articles, their first issue dropped on Monday, emailed to every student, parent, and district employee. The headline read, "Where has the money gone? Westridge's $1.5 million mystery." The response was immediate. By lunch, Harmon had called an emergency assembly. The unauthorized publication distributed this morning contains false information, he announced, voice tight with controlled rage. Anyone involved will face severe disciplinary action, including suspension. As students filed out, Harmon locked eyes with Jack. My office now. Behind closed doors, Harmon's professional facade cracked. I don't know what game you're playing, Miller, but it ends today. No game. Just teaching critical thinking. Don't play innocent. Those students have your fingerprints all over them. Harmon leaned across the desk. I've authorized a complete background check on you. Any skeletons in your closet? Jack's face revealed nothing. Check away. The students involved will be identified and disciplined. Their college recommendations will reflect this insubordination, punishing students for asking questions. That'll look great in the next newspaper. Harmon's smile was cold. There won't be a next issue. That evening, Maya and her team gathered in the art room, undeterred. He's threatening our college chances, one boy said nervously. He already sabotages them, Maya replied. At least now we know why. Jack watched from the doorway, conflicted. These kids were risking their futures to expose corruption. Meanwhile, he'd initially come to rob them as Chen approached, following his gaze. They're inspiring, aren't they? They're teenagers. They shouldn't have to fight like this. Sometimes the only people brave enough to speak truth are those with the most to lose. She squeezed his arm. And those with nothing left to lose. Jack nodded, thinking of Vincent's threat. 3 days remained before his past caught up with him. Whether through Vincent or Harmon's investigation, his criminal history would soon be exposed. Ms. Chen, if something happens to me, I'll protect them, she promised, understanding immediately. Jack watched Maya rallying her peers, her passion igniting courage in others. For the first time in his life, he wasn't running a con. He was standing for something really even as everything threatened to collapse around him. Mitch cornered Jack in the school parking lot as dusk settled over West. Time's up, partner. Jack glanced around, ensuring they were alone. I need one more day. Vincent's not the patient type. Mitch leaned against Jack's car. What's the holdup? Found the score. Set up the blackmail. Collect the cash. Simple. It's complicated bullshit. You've gone soft. Mitch's voice hardened. Or you're cutting us out. Neither. The principal's running a sophisticated operation. Millions, not thousands. This caught Mitch's attention. How many millions? At least 5 over the past few years. Maybe more. Jack lowered his voice. But he's got security watching me. We need to be careful. Mitch considered this. What's the play? I've identified his offshore accounts. Tomorrow night, he's transferring the latest Hull the Capital Improvement Grant. We document the transfer, then offer him a choice. Pay us, or we send evidence to the authorities. Clean, simple, blackmail. Mitch nodded, approvingly. Vincent will like it. I need you to get Vincent to back off for 24 hours. And that student newspaper bullshit. Jack's stomach tightened. Smoke screen keeps Harmon distracted while I access his computer. Smart, Mitch admitted. The old Jack's still in there somewhere. After Mitch left, Jack sat in his car, disgusted with himself. He'd just betrayed Maya and the others, dismissing their courage as a smokescreen. But the lie had bought him time to execute his true plan. Jack drove to an internet cafe and emailed Dr. Livingston re Westridge Finances. Have documentation of embezzlement? Need meeting ASAP. Her response came within minutes. Tomorrow, 4 p.m., my office. Next, Jack called Vincent directly. Mitch says you've got a plan, Vincent said, without preamble. Tomorrow night, blackmail setup. Jack kept his voice steady. But I need assurance my sister stays out of this. Deliver the goods. She stays clean. I want it in writing. Text message. Vincent laughed. Trust issues, Jackie. Smart issues. Text the guarantee, or find another patsy. After hanging up, Jack forwarded Vincent's reluctant text promise to his lawyer, the one decent man he'd kept in his life. If things went sideways, at least Kelly would be protected. The next morning, a school-wide email announced Maya's suspension for creating disruption and spreading falsehoods. 2 other student journalists received the same punishment. Jack found Maya clearing out her locker, eyes red but chin high. He can't do this, Jack said. Furious, he's the principal. He can do whatever he wants. Maya slammed her locker shut. My mom's freaking out. This could affect my entire future. I'm going to fix this. Today, Maya studied him. I have a meeting with someone who can help. Just hang tight. You still haven't told me who you really are. Jack hesitated. Someone trying to be better than he was. At lunch, Jack met Ms. Chen in the empty art room. Maya's been suspended, she said before he could speak. I know, but I've got a plan. Jack handed her a flash drive. This contains everything I found on Harmon. Financial records, dummy companies, the works. Ms. Chen's eyes widened. How did you get this? Better you don't know. Jack checked his watch. I'm meeting with Dr. Livingston today. If anything happens to me, give her this drive. What do you think will happen? Jack thought of Vincent, of Harmon's investigation, of his own criminal past closing in. Let's just say I've made enemies on both sides of the law. Dr. Livingston's office at the district headquarters was sparse and functional. She reviewed Jack's evidence with methodical precision. This is substantial, she admitted, examining bank statements and transfer records, but not conclusive. We need to connect Harmon directly to these accounts. He's careful, Jack explained. Uses proxies and shell companies. How exactly did you obtain these records, Mr. Miller? Jack hesitated. Some skills from my past. Criminal skills. Her gaze was penetrating. Yes, she nodded, unsurprised. I ran a background check after our meeting. Jack Miller, convicted of fraud and confidence schemes, released 3 years ago. Jack's throat tightened. Then why meet with me? Because sometimes it takes a thief to catch one. She gestured at the documents. The question is, what's your angle? Originally, something illegal, Jack admitted. Now, I just want to help those kids. Dr. Livingston studied him, then made a decision. We need more direct evidence linking Harmon to these accounts. Without it, he'll claim ignorance, blame a subordinate. I can get it, but I need more time. Time is something those students don't have. Maya Patel's suspension goes on her permanent record tomorrow. Jack stood. Give me until tonight. Back at Westridge, Jack slipped into the administrative wing during the lunch hour. The office was empty, except for Doris, Harmon's secretary. Mr. Miller, she greeted him warmly. Dr. Harmon's at a district meeting all afternoon. Perfect timing. I need your help, Doris. Her smile faded at his serious tone. What's wrong? Jack took a chance. I know about the missing scholarship applications, about the funds that never reach students. Doris paled. I don't know what you mean. I think you do, and I think it bothers you. Her eyes welled with tears. I just process the paperwork. I don't ask questions. But you've seen things, noticed patterns. She glanced at Harmon's closed door, then whispered, he makes me shred certain documents. Reroute applications from students like Maya. Help me stop him, Doris. Her hands trembled. I need this job. My grandson's medical bills. I'm not asking you to put yourself at risk. Jack slid a small device from his pocket. This copy's keys of 5 minutes on his computer when he's gone. That's all? Doris hesitated, then reached for the device. For Maya and all the others. That evening, Jack received an email with Harmon's passwords. He worked through the night, tracing financial trails, capturing screenshots, and building the case. By morning, he had what they needed. Emails between Harmon and offshore bankers. Transfers matching exactly with school grant deposits. And documents proving Harmon personally owned the shell companies receiving consulting fees. He compiled everything onto a flash drive, making 3 copies. One for Dr. Livingston, one for Ms. Chen, and one insurance copy hidden in Maya's locker. As Jack pulled into the school parking lot, his phone rang. Vincent. Change of plans. Vincent said without preamble. We move today. Jack's grip tightened on the steering wheel. That wasn't the agreement. Mitch says Harmon's getting suspicious. It's now or never. I need more time tonight. School parking lot, 8 p.m. Bring the evidence. Vincent's voice hardened. And Jack, no games. Your sister's counting on you. The line went dead as Jack spotted Maddox watching him from the school entrance. The walls were closing in from all sides. Dr. Livingston moved quickly. By noon, a stern woman in a charcoal suit arrived at Westridge, marching directly to the administrative offices. Diane Foster, District Financial Compliance, she announced to a startled Doris. I need to see Principal Harmon immediately, Jack observed from the hallway as Harmon emerged. All smiles and professional charm. Ms. Foster, what a pleasant surprise. How can I help the district today? This isn't a courtesy call, Dr. Harmon. We've received allegations of financial irregularities. Harmon's smile remained fixed, but his eyes hardened. Baseless rumors, I assure you. Likely from the same troublemakers who created that slanderous student newsletter. Nevertheless, I'll need to review all financial records from the past 5 years. Immediately. As Foster followed Harmon into his office, Jack received a text from Dr. Livingston. Foster will investigate. Stay clear. Jack's next class was his last of the day. As students worked on assignments, he noticed Maya's empty seat and made a decision. He slipped out during the group work session and headed for Harmon's office. Foster and Harmon were engaged. Intense conversation while Doris looked on nervously. Standard procedure requires immediate access, Foster was saying. And you'll have it, Harmon assured her smoothly. After my team prepares the documentation properly. That's not how compliance audits work. Jack knocked on the open door. Sorry to interrupt, I need to submit these grade reports. Harmon glared. Not now, Miller. It'll just take a second. Jack placed the folder on Doris's desk, deliberately knocking over a cup of pens. I'm so sorry. As he gathered the scattered pens, he whispered to Doris. Second copy in my desk. Bottom drawer. Doris gave an almost imperceptible nod. That will be all, Mr. Miller, Harmon said coldly. Back in his classroom, Jack found a note on his desk. They found our headquarters. Everything's gone. Jack rushed to the art room. It had been stripped, bare student work removed, supplies confiscated. Ms. Chen's desk emptied. He found her in the teacher's lounge, face ashen. Harmon's destroying evidence, she whispered. Said it was unauthorized use of school resources. The flash drive. Safe. But the students' work years of documentation, it's all gone. Jack's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Checking your background. Interesting findings. Maddox's time was running out. Jack headed to his classroom to retrieve the second flash drive from his desk, only to find Maddox already there, drawer open, drive in hand. Looking for this? Maddox smiled coldly. Harmon wants to see you. Now in Harmon's office, Foster was gone. Harmon held up the flash drive. Quite the collection of fiction you've compiled. Those are financial records. Your financial records. Doctored by a convicted fraudster? Harmon's smile was triumphant. Yes, Mr. Miller, I know exactly who you are. The question is, does Ms. Foster? Jack maintained his composure. Tell her, I've nothing to hide. No. What about your associates? The ones watching the school? Harmon turned his computer monitor to show security footage of Mitch in the parking lots. I'm guessing they're not here for parent-teacher conferences. Jack's blood ran cold. Harmon had connected the dots faster than anticipated. You're fired. Effective immediately, Harmon continued. Any allegations you make will be dismissed as the desperate lies of a criminal trying to deflect from his own attempted theft. And if you contact anyone from this district again, I'll ensure your parole officer receives a complete report. Jack stood, mind racing. The investigation was proceeding, but slowly. Vincent expected results tonight. Maya remained suspended, and now he'd lost his position inside the school. You've won this round, Jack conceded, buying time. But this isn't over. Harmon's laugh followed him out. It was over before it began. Jack waited outside Maya's apartment building, desperate and running out of options. When she appeared, her expression turned wary. You disappeared. Everyone's saying you were fired. I was. Jack gestured to his car. Can we talk? Inside the vehicle, Jack explained everything: the investigation, Harmon's counterattack, the confiscated evidence. So it's over, Maya said flatly. Not yet, but I need your help. Why should I trust you? You still haven't told me who you really are. Jack took a deep breath. I'm a convicted con man. I came to Westridge to steal equipment, but then I found Harmon's scheme, and what? Decided to play hero instead. I decided to do the right thing, maybe for the first time. Maya studied him, then reached into her backpack and pulled out a notebook. My project for the science competition, the one Harmon tried to block. Jack skimmed the pages: statistical analysis of school funding versus outcomes across the district. This is incredible work. It started as pure research, Maya explained, but the data showed something strange. Every school improved with increased funding, except Westridge. She flipped to a graph showing a stark anomaly: Westridge's inverse relationship between funding and performance. I interviewed former teachers, analyzed public records. The pattern was clear: as funding increased, resources decreased. Harmon's embezzlement quantified. Jack looked up, impressed. Did you submit this yesterday? To the district competition and the state auditor's office? Jack stared at her. The state auditor. Anonymous tip line. After you disappeared, I figured it was our last shot. Hope flickered to life. Maya had created a parallel investigation without realizing it, one with the potential to trigger official action. This changes everything, Jack said. How soon until they respond? No idea. But there's more. Maya pulled out her phone. Remember when you said to document everything? I've been recording Harmon's morning announcements for months. She played a clip where Harmon mentioned specific improvement projects that never materialized, with timestamps and later recordings proving they hadn't been completed. Recorded promises plus financial data. That's damning evidence. Maya nodded. The suspended students have been gathering more proof. We call ourselves the Accountability Project now. Pride swelled in Jack's chest. You kids never quit, do you? We can't afford to. This is our future. Jack checked his watch for hours until his meeting with Vincent. He needed to stall, to buy time for Maya's evidence to reach the right people. Harmon's planning something tonight. A major money transfer. Help. Do you know? Jack hesitated. Those associates I mentioned, they're planning to blackmail him. They'll be at the school at 8 p.m. Understanding dawned on Maya's face. That's why you really came to Westridge. You were working with them initially, but now they're threatening my sister if I don't help them. So what's your plan? I need to get my hands on the third flash drive, the one I hid in your locker. Maya frowned. I was suspended, remember? I can't get back inside. No, but I know someone who can. Jack started the car. We need to find Ms. Chen. As they drove, Jack's phone rang. Dr. Livingston. The investigation stalled, she said without preamble. Harmon's claiming cyber tampering, pointing to your record. Foster's requesting additional authorization. That could take days. Days we don't have. He's accelerated the Capital Improvement Fund transfer to tonight. Jack gripped the steering wheel. Maya submitted evidence to the state auditor. When yesterday Dr. Livingston sighed. State moves slowly. We need something immediate. What if we catch him in the act? Jack proposed tonight. The transfer risky without official backing. Sometimes the only way forward is through the fire, Jack said, making his decision. I'll call you after. As he hung up, Maya studied him. You're going to confront Harmon yourself, aren't you? Someone has to stop him. Not alone, Maya insisted. We do this together. For once, Jack didn't argue. He was done playing the lone operator. Maybe redemption wasn't a solo journey after all. Ms. Chen's apartment was filled with the art her students never got to create at school, vibrant paintings and sculptures made from reclaimed materials. She listened intently as Jack revealed his true identity and their predicament. I've suspected you weren't just a substitute, she said finally. Your questions were too pointed. I've been lying to everyone, Jack admitted. But what I found about Harmon is real. Maya set forward. We need to get that flash drive from my locker. Ms. Chen nodded. I still have my keys. But security will be watching for Jack, which is why I won't go, Jack said. You two will. They formulated a plan. Ms. Chen would escort Maya to retrieve her forgotten textbook, using her teacher's authority to gain access. Meanwhile, Jack would prepare for his confrontation with Vincent and Mitch. As the women prepared to leave, Jack handed Maya a sealed envelope. If something goes wrong tonight, give this to Dr. Livingston. What is it? My full confession. Every detail of Harmon's scheme, and my own original intentions. Jack's smile was wry. Turns out going straight includes owning up to your mistakes. After they departed, Jack called the one person he'd been avoiding, his sister Kelly. Jack, is everything okay? Her voice brought back memories of hospital visits, of promises made. I'm in a situation, Kel, but I'm doing the right thing this time, I swear. What kind of situation? Alarm edged her voice. Vincent Reyes is back. He's been threatening to go after your medical debt. Oh, Jack. Disappointment weighted her words. You promised I'm not working with him. That's why he's threatening you. Silence, then. What do you need me to do? Get out of town tonight? Stay with Aunt Marge? And forward any calls or texts from Vincent to this number. He gave her Dr. Livingston's contact. She's a district official helping me. District official. Jack, what exactly are you involved in? Jack explained everything. Westridge Harmon. The embezzlement. The students fighting for their future. I'm proud of you, Kelly said when he finished. But be careful. Men like Harmon and Vincent, they don't play by any rules. I know. That's why I need to end this tonight. After hanging up, Jack received a text from Ms. Chen. Got it. Meeting you at the library. At the public library, Maya triumphantly handed over the flash drive. Security never questioned us. Ms. Chen said we were gathering materials for a student's suspension appeal. Not entirely untrue, Ms. Chen observed. Jack checked his watch. 2 hours until his meeting with Vincent. Time to make one final move. I need to see Dr. Livingston immediately. At district headquarters, Dr. Livingston examined the fresh evidence. With growing confidence, this might be enough, especially combined with Maya's research. We still need to catch Harmon in the act, Jack insisted. Tonight's transfer is our best shot. It's too dangerous. Let the authorities handle it. By then the money will be gone, Jack argued, and Vincent will expose me if I don't deliver something tonight. Dr. Livingston considered this. What exactly are you proposing? I confront Harmon, wearing a wire. Get him to incriminate himself before the transfer. Absolutely not. Dr. Livingston and Miss Chen said simultaneously. I've spent my life on the wrong side of these situations, Jack said quietly. Let me use those skills for something good. And if it goes wrong? Miss Chen demanded. Jack smiled, ruefully. Then Maya delivers my confession, and you finish what we started. Maya stepped forward. There has to be another way. There isn't. Not in the time we have. Jack turned to Dr. Livingston. But I need your help to do this right. Dr. Livingston studied him, weighing risks against her own ethical obligations. You understand this could still end with you facing charges? I do. She nodded slowly. Then, let's make sure we get Harmon too. Jack sat in Dr. Livingston's office as a technician fitted him with a wire. Testing, the tech said, adjusting settings on a receiver. You're good to go. Remember, we need clear statements about the money, where it's going, and his knowledge of the embezzlement. Dr. Livingston handed Jack a thin folder. Take this. It contains just enough evidence to make Harmon nervous, but not enough to tip him off about everything we have. The plan was set. Jack would confront Harmon at the school, claiming to want a share of the embezzled funds in exchange for his silence. Meanwhile, Dr. Livingston would coordinate with district security and the police, who would monitor the conversation remotely and move in once they had sufficient evidence. What about Vincent and Mitch? Maya asked. I've alerted security to their presence, Dr. Livingston assured her. They'll be intercepted before they can interfere. Jack checked his watch. I should go. Harmon always stays late on Fridays. Miss Chen squeezed his arm. Be careful. Harmon's not just greedy. He's desperate. As Jack prepared to leave, Maya stepped forward. Why are you really doing this? You could just walk away. Jack thought about his sister, about years wasted on schemes and self-interest, because those kids at Westridge deserve better. You deserve better. Maya studied him. You're risking everything for people you barely know. Maybe that's what redemption looks like. Jack smiled slightly. Or maybe I'm just tired of being the bad guy. The school was eerily quiet as Jack slipped in through a service entrance. Security cameras tracked his movement, but he knew Maddox was off duty on Friday evenings. One of Harmon's cost-cutting measures that now worked in their favor. Lights spilled from under Harmon's office door. Jack took a deep breath, adjusted his hidden microphone, and knocked. Come in. Harmon looked up, surprise quickly masked by contempt. Miller's security will be here in 2 minutes. No need. Jack closed the door. I think we can help each other. Harmon leaned back. I doubt that very much. $5 million, Jack said calmly. That's how much you've skimmed since 2016. Impressive operation. Ridiculous accusations from a known criminal? Jack slid the folder across the desk. Offshore accounts? Shell companies? Tonight's transfer of the capital improvement grant? It's all here. Harmon glanced at the documents, his composure slipping. Where did you get these? I recognized a familiar scheme. Takes a thief to catch one, right? What do you want? A percentage? Call it? Consultant's fees. Harmon studied him. You expect me to believe you came here for money? After all your righteous posturing? I came here for a score, Jack said truthfully. I just found a bigger one than expected. Outside, a car door slammed in the parking lot. Vincent and Mitch were early. Jack needed to accelerate things. The transfer happens tonight. Jack pressed. You authorize it. I walk away with my cut. Everyone wins, except the students. Harmon's smile was cold. Suddenly that doesn't bother you. Business is business. You taught me that. Harmon considered him, then reached for his computer. Perhaps we can arrange something. As Harmon logged in, Jack positioned himself to see the screen, ensuring the hidden camera captured the account information. Impressive setup, Jack remarked, stalling for time. How did you start it? Small? Transportation budget adjustments, then construction contracts to phantom companies? Harmon's pride loosened his tongue. The real genius was the grant applications. No one questions money coming in only going out, and no one noticed $5 million disappearing. People see what they expect to see. Harmon gestured at his award plaques. A respected educator carefully managing limited resources. Another door slammed, closer this time. Jack glanced anxiously at the window. Is someone else here? Harmon frowned. Probably the janitor, Jack said quickly. About that transfer first, your assurance of silence. Permanently, of course. Harmon turned the screen toward Jack. I'm transferring the capital improvement funds now. Your cut will follow, to an account of your choosing. Jack watched as Harmon entered authentication codes, heart pounding. They needed him to complete the action. Evidence of intent wasn't enough. Footsteps approached in the hallway. Jack tensed, praying it was district security, not Vincent. Almost there, Harmon murmured, finger poised over the enter key. Once this is done, we're partners in this. No turning back. The office door burst open. Jack whirled, expecting district security, but Vincent and Mitch stood in the doorway. Sorry to interrupt, Vincent said smoothly. Jack and I have unfinished business. Harmon's hand jerked away from the keyboard. Who the hell are you? Friends of your new partner here. Vincent gestured to Jack. Though partner might be generous, considering he's wearing a wire, Jack's blood ran cold. Vincent amateur. Our? Jackie. Vincent stepped closer. You think I wouldn't recognize a setup? Harmon's face darkened with fury. A wire? You son of a… It's over. Harmon, Jack, abandon pretense. The authorities have everything they need. Not quite everything, Harmon snarled, lunging for his computer to cancel the transfer. Mitch moved faster, grabbing Harmon's wrist. Let's not be hasty. That money's going somewhere, and we want our cut. There's nothing for you here, Jack said, positioning himself between Vincent and the door. Police are on their way, Vincent laughed. And you'll be arrested right alongside us. Convicted felon, violating parole, participating in extortion, if that's what it takes to stop him, fine. Harmon struggled against Mitch's grip. This is absurd. I'm calling security. With what? Mitch grinned, pocketing Harmon's phone. Now, about that transfer? Jack caught movement in the hallway. Dr. Livingston and 2 police officers approaching silently. He needed to keep everyone talking. Why? Did you do it, Harmon? Jack demanded. These kids had nothing, and you took even that from them. Spare me the sanctimony. Harmon's composure cracked. Do you think anyone cares about these students? The board wants balanced budgets. Parents want empty assurances. No one looks deeper. Maya Patel looked deeper. The students you suspended for asking questions, they looked deeper. Irrelevant nobodies. They're the reason you're finished, Jack pressed, ensuring the microphone captured everything. Maya's research exposed your pattern. Your own financial records prove it. $5 million that should have gone to textbooks, repairs, programs. You can't prove I personally benefited, Harmon sneered. Your offshore accounts say otherwise. The homes, cars, vacations all paid for with stolen education funds, Vincent interrupted impatiently. Fascinating confession, but we're on a schedule. He pulled out a gun. Complete the transfer, Harmon. Now Jack tensed. This wasn't part of the plan. Vincent, don't shut up. Jack, you had your chance to play it straight. Dr. Livingston and the officers remained frozen in the doorway, assessing the escalating situation. The gun's unnecessary, Harmon said, voice steady, despite his pallor. I can transfer the funds. Smart man. Vincent gestured toward the computer. Do it. Harmon turned to the keyboard, fingers flying. There, 1.5 million, transferred to the designated account. Jack watched in disbelief. You just completed the embezzlement with witnesses, and while wearing a wire, the money's already gone, Harmon said flatly. Might as well hang for a sheep as a lamb. Vincent checked his phone, confirming the transfer. Pleasure doing business. He backed toward the door and came face to face with the police officers. Drop the weapon, the lead officer ordered. Time slowed. Vincent's eyes narrowed, calculating odds Jack knew were terrible. Mitch edged toward the window. Harmon's hand inched toward his desk drawer. It's over, Jack said quietly. All of it. Vincent's shoulders slumped as he carefully set the gun down. Mitch raised his hands in surrender. But Harmon suddenly yanked open his drawer, reaching inside. Gun, an officer shouted. Jack lunged across the desk, tackling Harmon, as officers swarmed in. They crashed to the floor, Jack's hand closing around Harmon's wrist, which held not a gun, but a flash drive. Insurance policy, Harmon gasped as handcuffs clicked around his wrists. Names of everyone who helped me, everyone who looked the other way. Jack pocketed the drive as officers helped him up. Dr. Livingston entered, surveying the scene with grim satisfaction. Edward Harmon, you're under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy, the lead officer announced. As police led Harmon, Vincent, and Mitch away, Dr. Livingston turned to Jack. That was extremely reckless, but effective, Jack said, handing her the flash drive. Harmon's black book might be useful. And what about you? She asked. You've violated parole, at minimum. Jack nodded, extending his wrists. I know. The emergency school board meeting was standing room only. Parents, teachers, students, and media packed the district auditorium, murmuring about the shocking arrests 3 days earlier. Jack sat between his lawyer and Dr. Livingston, acutely aware of the stares. His parole violation charges had been temporarily suspended pending this hearing, but his future remained uncertain. Board Chairman Pearson called for order. This emergency session will address the allegations against Principal Edward Harmon and determine immediate actions for Westridge High School. Dr. Livingston presented the evidence, methodically financial records, witness statements, and the contents of Harmon's flash drive, which implicated 2 board members in the cover-up. The scope of this corruption is staggering, she concluded. $5 million diverted from students over 8 years. When Jack was called to testify, he approached the microphone with trepidation. My name is Jack Miller. I came to West under false pretenses. Honesty felt strange but necessary. I have a criminal record for fraud and was initially looking for valuable equipment to steal. Gasps rippled through the audience. Instead, I found something far worse. Systematic theft. From the students who needed those resources most. Jack detailed Harmon's schemes, his voice growing stronger as he described the consequences. Maya's sabotaged scholarship applications, crumbling facilities, missing textbooks. These weren't victimless crimes, he emphasized. Every dollar stolen was an opportunity taken from these kids. During cross-examination, a hostile board member attacked his credibility. Why should we believe a convicted criminal? You shouldn't, Jack acknowledged. Believe the evidence. Believe the students who've been telling you something was wrong for years. As Jack returned to his seat, the doors burst open. Maya entered, leading a procession of students carrying signs. We deserve better in education, not embezzlement. We request the right to speak, Maya announced firmly. Chairman Pearson hesitated, then nodded. Briefly, Maya took the microphone, composed, despite her youth. My name is Maya Patel. For 3 years, I've watched Westridge deteriorate while applying for every scholarship possible. Each time, my applications mysteriously disappeared. She presented her research methodical statistics, interviews, photographic evidence of declining conditions despite increased funding. We're not just numbers on a spreadsheet, she concluded. We're students with dreams and potential. We deserve better than having those dreams stolen by the very people meant to support them. Other students testified the artist whose supplies vanished, the athlete competing in worn-out equipment, the science student conducting experiments with outdated materials. Ms. Chen spoke last, presenting her years of documentation. I watched good teachers leave, programs cut, and students lose hope, all while being told there was no money. The board recessed for deliberation. In the hallway, Jack found himself surrounded by Westridge students. Is it true you were going to rob the school? A freshman asked bluntly. Jack nodded, ashamed. Yes, not my finest moment. But instead, you helped expose Harmon, another student pointed out. I did what anyone should have done. Maya appeared at his elbow. Not anyone would have risked prison to help kids they barely knew. Before Jack could respond, they were called back inside. The board's decision was unanimous. Harmon's termination, immediate funding for emergency repairs, and a complete audit of all district finances. Chairman Pearson addressed Jack directly. Mr. Miller, while we cannot condone your initial intentions or methods, we recognize your crucial role in exposing this corruption. This board will recommend leniency to the prosecutor's office. Relief washed over Jack, tempered by lingering uncertainty about his legal fate. As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Livingston pulled him aside. There's something else you should know. The authorities recovered most of the money from Harmon's accounts, including the capital improvement funds. The school gets its roof fixed after all, Jack said, smiling slightly, and its textbooks, programs, and scholarships. She handed him an envelope. The board wants to offer you a position. Jack blinked in surprise. As what professional ex-con? As a consultant on the Financial Oversight Committee. 6 months, monitoring the reconstruction process. Is that even legal with my record? We're making an exception. Dr. Livingston's expression softened. Consider it community service in lieu of additional charges. For the first time in days, Jack felt the weight on his shoulders lighten. Not freedom, not yet, but purpose. A chance to finish what he'd started. 6 months later, Jack stood in the Westridge High courtyard, watching students cross the newly paved entrance. The transformation was remarkable. Repaired roof, fresh paint, updated computer lab, and most importantly, renewed energy among students and staff. Quite the change, Ms. Chen observed, joining him with a coffee cup in her paint-stained hand. Now officially the arts department chair, she'd expended from one class to a full program, worth every penny of Harmon's stolen millions. Jack agreed. His role on the oversight committee had kept him busy monitoring contractors, reviewing expenditures, ensuring every dollar reached its intended purpose. The position had satisfied his parole requirements and given him purpose he'd never known in his con artist days. Maya's presentation is about to start, Ms. Chen reminded him. You don't want to miss it. In the auditorium, Maya stood confidently before college representatives and scholarship committees. Her research on educational funding inequity, the same work that had helped expose Harmon, had earned national recognition and multiple scholarship offers. Systemic corruption thrives in shadows, she explained, advancing through her presentation. The solution isn't just oversight, but transparency and student advocacy. Jack watched from the back row, pride swelling in his chest. She'd chosen MIT, with a full scholarship that would cover not just her education, but living expenses, allowing her to focus on studies instead of survival for the first time. After the presentation, Maya found him in the hallway. You're looking respectable, she teased, noting his tie and dress shirt. Don't let the outfit fool you, Jack replied with a smile. Still the same delinquent underneath. A delinquent with a job offer from the state auditor's office. Maya's eyes twinkled. Dr. Livingston told me. Jack shrugged. Turns out my specific skill set is valuable in fraud detection. Who would have thought? Maya hesitated, then hugged him quickly. Thank you for everything. I just helped push things along. You did the real work. We all did. She glanced at her watch. I have to go. College orientation next week. As she walked away, Jack called after her. Maya, give him hell at MIT. Her grin was brilliant. Count on it. Later that afternoon, Jack met with Dr. Livingston for his final committee review. The oversight transition is complete, she confirmed. Westridge has new administration, new financial controls, and a student advocacy council Maya helped establish before leaving. Sounds like you don't need me anymore. On the contrary, she slid a folder across the desk. The state auditor was impressed with your work. They're offering a 2-year position investigating educational fraud. Your experience gives you unique insight. Jack opened the folder, scanning the offer letter. A legitimate job. My sister won't believe it. People can change, Mr. Miller. So I'm learning. That evening, Jack visited his sister Kelly for dinner, a weekly tradition since the Harmon case concluded. To your new job, she toasted, raising her glass. From conman to fraud investigator, life is strange. Speaking of strange, Jack said, how's the new treatment going? Kelly's cancer had responded well to an experimental therapy they'd afforded with his legitimate income. Promising, her smile was cautious but real. Doctor says, we've bought significant time. Time for what? Jack teased. More of your terrible cooking. For living, she said simply. For second chances. The phrase followed Jack as he drove back to Westridge for graduation the next day. Standing at the back of the ceremony, he watched Maya and her classmates receive diplomas in a gymnasium with a new floor and functioning air conditioning. Principal Diaz, Harmon's replacement, announced proudly. This year, Westridge graduates have received over $2 million in scholarship offers, a school record. The crowd erupted in cheers. Jack caught Ms. Chin's eye across the room, exchanging satisfied nods. After the ceremony, he walked the halls one last time. His classroom had new textbooks. The library shelves were filled. The art room buzzed with activity. Jack paused at the bulletin board where he'd first met Maya. The faded college dreams sign had been replaced with a vibrant display of acceptance, letters, and scholarship announcements. A janitor approached the same man who'd nodded silently during Jack's first days at Westridge. The place looks different, the janitor observed. Feels different too, Jack replied. You did good here. The man extended his hand. Takes courage to change sides. Jack shook it, surprised. You knew. Been here 30 years. I know a con when I see one. The janitor smiled. And I know redemption when I see it too. As Jack walked out of Westridge for the final time, his phone buzzed with a text from Maya. First day of orientation complete. Professor says my research could help other struggling schools. This is just the beginning. Jack smiled, typing back, give em hell, kid. Sometimes, he reflected, it takes someone who knows the con to spot the con. And sometimes, the biggest con of all is believing people can't change. Could a man who spent his life deceiving others become the only honest person in a corrupt system? Jack Miller was living proof that the answer was yes. The end.